What's up YouTube, Capital G here. We have some Dark Illusion leaks and there are a lot of them. I'm going to break this down into about 3 videos because there's so much stuff to cover, but people have gotten their hands on the cards from the Dark Illusion. You see somebody's finger or thumb right there. And in this video, we're going to be talking about some new Draco support. We've got a new Dracoslayer and a new Draco. Well, it's not Draco Overlord anymore. Apparently, it's a Draco Emperor. I'm thinking that this is Luster Pendulum and this is Vector Pendulum. These are basically like their final forms. This is Frieza Form 4. Well, I actually technically in Super and in the movie, there's like way more forms of Frieza. So I guess you can't even stop at the 4th form. But you know, the lure starts with like Luster Pendulum and then he becomes Master Pendulum. And then I guess he evolves into like this crazy dude with the big ass shield and the wings and all of that. And you know, that Vector kind of, you know, got like fused with the Amorphage dragons and became like this fucking abomination, and I guess he evolved even further into something even crazier. So we'll talk about these cards and then I'll discuss some of the other cards in another video. So this is Masterpiece, the true Dracoslayer. It is level 8. It's a light. It's a dragon. It is 2950 attack and defense, which is, I mean, that's higher than even Ignister. That's pretty legitimate for a level 8 monster. It's trade-in target, so that's kind of cool. Effect says cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by attributing 2 monsters you control, 1 Dracoslayer and 1 Draco Overlord. We all know that Dracos are extremely popular in the meta, not just in Performa Power decks, but you know, I've messed with them and like what's it called, in Magic Specters. It works pretty well just because Face Off is such a strong card. The effect number 1, once per turn, and this is what makes the card strong. I've read this card, it's actually really good. Once per turn, during the player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate that activation. Effect number 2, if this card on the field is destroyed by an opponent's card, battle, or effect, you can special summon 1 Dracoslayer monster and 1 Draco Overlord monster from your deck. Now, it doesn't say ignoring the condition, so I don't think that you can get the ritual. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can't get the ritual, but you could still, I mean, let's just put this in the most common tags. If this guy is on the field and it dies to like a Regeki or something like that, you could still just get a Vector Pendulum and a Master, or a Vector and a Luster Pendulum if you didn't use that to summon this. I understand completely why they put the, you can only special summon this guy by attributing a, what's it called, a Draco Overlord and a Dracoslayer, because people would almost certainly try to Pendulum summon this damn thing. It is level 8. If you've got 9 scale, then you probably be able to get this guy. I mean, hell, this card is actually, if you could just normal summon it, I'd play this shit in Monarchs just because of that great, or that 6 Samurai Shien effect, essentially, of just being able to negate anything, not just cards on the field, but just, you know, like you can negate an effect Veiler, or you can negate like a Max C. That's pretty damn powerful. Now, the thing about this is, what people have to realize is it says you can negate that activation. It doesn't actually destroy the card. So, for instance, if your opponent summons like a Scroll Combat Joker, you can negate the Joker, but the Joker doesn't get destroyed. So your opponent can still attack with it, or they can still, you know, like Xyz or Synchro or whatever the hell else they want to do with it. So I think this card is pretty good, and it kind of like, it's almost a shame that Ignister, or excuse me, that Luster Pendulum is at 1, and that Ignister will almost certainly go to 1, and the same thing with Face Off. Like it's almost a shame that the Dracos are probably going to get hit on the ban list because their future support looks very promising. Then the second card is, and this is very difficult to pronounce, I don't even know, Agnimazard, Vanisher, the true Draco Emperor. I probably butchered this, but come on, like that's just a very difficult name. We'll just call it Vanisher, the true Draco Emperor. It's a level 9 fire worm effect monster. I don't see. I wonder about it being a worm, because I know that's part of its effect, but I'm just like, I mean, the Amorphages are like dragons. Maybe they become even more corrupted and they turn from dragons into worms or something like that with the lore. Like, I don't really know. 2900 attack, 20 or 1900 defense. The stat line is really good on this one too. It says you can only use the 1 and 2 effect. of the true Draco Emperor once per turn each. Effect number 1, during your main phase, you can destroy a total of 2 monsters in your hand or face up on the field, including a fire monster. And if you do, special summon this card from your hand. If you destroy 2 fire monsters this way, banish 1 monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. So essentially, if you want to special summon this card from your hand, you can, just blow up 2 fire monsters. Now, I don't really quite get that because that doesn't really, like, none of the Dracos that I know of are like fire. So I'm kind of wondering where that whole angle is. Like, even the Amorphages aren't fires. I'm kind of wondering why it has synergy with like fire when the lore just doesn't indicate that, like Luster, or excuse me, that Vector Pendulum would have anything to do with fire monsters. Let's move on to effect number 2. If this card is destroyed by an effect, you can add one worm type monster from your graveyard to your hand, except a fire monster. The effect of this card is all over the place. Like, I really don't quite understand why this card has so much synergy with fire monsters when maybe there's going to have to be like some future support that works with this, because if you look at all the Dracos, none of them have anything to do with fire. If you look at the Amorphages, none of them have to do with anything with fire. And there's not even that much worm support in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, maybe you could try and splash this into Yang Zings. I do like the fact that you can special summon this. You could just Foolish Burial this card and like call the Haunted it back. It doesn't have any type of summoning conditions. Yes, you can special summon it, but you can also just like, call the Haunted it or soul charge it or whatever, because you can just normal summon this or set it or anything like that. So this one is a lot easier to summon. I think the upside on Masterpiece is way higher. If Dracos get more cards in the future, or if their stuff gets, not completely wrecked by the ban list, I could see people splashing in maybe 1 copy of this just as kind of like a really good boss monster, especially if something happens to Ignister in which, you might be kind of struggling for boss monsters. So let me know what you guys think. I think this card's fantastic. This one is kind of weird. I'm going to have to look at future support and see if anything is going to synergize, because right now I'm not really understanding how this card has synergy with anything in the current card pool. I like that you can special summon it, but that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching as always.